When you think of Etsy, what do you think of? Probably handmade jewelry, gifts, and crafts. However, surprise for me, they also feature some handmade knives. In fact, I reviewed one a week back, and now we are back again with another handmade fixed blade, this time a bit on the smaller scale. Are these knives worth your time and money? Let's find out. In my frequent searches, I happened to stumble on this small fixed blade from Brian at FatRockCreations out of Puerto Rico. Now, there's a shocking amount of handmade fixed blades out on Etsy. How was I drawn to this one? As you can see, it's pretty hard to overlook it, as it has these really striking green G10 handles and an ultimately super pocketable size. I've been wanting a mini fixed blade to carry in these warmer months when I'm in shorts and a full-size fixed blade isn't reasonable, and this one fit the bill. This little guy is coming at the length of just over 4.5 inches, and when we compare it to some of my smaller folding knives, such as the QSP Penguin and the Spyderco Paramilitary 3 Lightweight, you can see even when closed, it almost dwarfs this little guy. Some might say this is too small to use or even hold, but I've been carrying this for a month now, and you'd be surprised how much I actually use it. This has been such a fun little fixed blade to carry, and due to its design and this finger trail here, I can actually get a full finger grip with my medium-sized hands. I will say my thumb lands on the spine of the blade here. It would have been nice to have some small jimping, but it's not a really big deal. Is this the most comfortable knife in the world to hold? Of course not, but that's not its goal. It's meant to be a small fixed blade, perfect for neck carry or just drop it in the pocket and forget it's there. And it does that role very, very well. Now I want to talk about the quality. With handmade goods, especially knives, quality can be such a hit or miss. I've handled some high dollar customs that feel incredible, but then on the other side, I've handled some handmade blades at craft shows and swap meets, and I've left entirely embarrassed. Safe to say, if you would have handed this to me, I would assume this is from a big manufacturer like something from Civivi or CRKT. Everything is flush and smooth. There's no rough or sharp edges. The sheath holds the blade securely with no play, and everything just feels really nice in hand. Brian did a really great job with this one, and I'm proud to be its new owner. I really particularly like how he went about his branding, and he kept the blade pretty plain other than a small logo on the show side, which is a pretty cool logo, by the way. The only other markings on the blade are his company on the top of the tang and then the blade steel on the bottom. I personally haven't seen any branding on the tang before. I think it's pretty interesting. You may have noticed the steel is Nitro V. If you've been around this community, you know this is a favorite steel for many budget brands, like Kaiser jumps to mind. While most makers on Etsy are using mystery steels or old springs or files, I was actually impressed this came with a solid, recognizable brand of steel. I'm not a steel snob by any means like some others out there, but I still thought it was a cool addition. Once I got this in hand, I already liked it. The size was perfect, the fit and finish is great. Overall, I was just very impressed. However, when I opened the package, I had a handwritten note from the maker that just put this over the top. I won't read you the full letter, but here's a pretty quick summary. Brian made this knife from scraps from his shop just to test out how pins work, and this was his first attempt. Safe to say, he has it pretty much down. Even though this has the quality of a large brand, this was handmade in a small shop behind his grandfather's house in Puerto Rico, as he and his wife recently moved back from living in the US for the past 10 years. Brian got to start messing with knives while working in a pawn shop in Denver before switching to working for Bastinelli Knives out of Florida. He started using scraps to practice during breaks and stayed late trying stuff seen on YouTube or Instagram to work on his craft. Now back in Puerto Rico, he hopes to make high-quality products at good prices. I think he's off to a great start, and I can't wait to see what else he comes out with. And that right there is why I love handmade goods. This is not just a knife. This is a story. I'm holding a piece of someone's life right here. There's years of experience and life events that came together to make this little knife right here in my hands. And I think that's so much more special than something I can just order online. I love something with character and a story, and this has that and so much more. If you're interested in a knife like this, I'll link Brian's Etsy page and Instagram in the description below. Make sure to follow him as he's constantly making new and exciting designs. Would you carry something like this in your EDC? Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. I have many more videos in the pipeline, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.